Hello and welcome to Manantial de Vida Church, our virtual English service. My name is Karina and I'm happy to be here to share with you a little piece of God's Word and also a little peace of mind. We are praying for all of you guys who are affected one way or another, financially, physically, keeping you in our prayers, keeping you in our thoughts, and we're just trusting in God through all of this. And that's actually what we're going to be talking about today. It means to trust in God. And I know that we know that there are benefits to trusting God. I'll read a few of them for you. In Jeremiah 17:7 says, "But blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. They will be like a tree planted by the water that sends out its root by the stream. It does not fear when heat comes. Its leaves are always green. It has no worries in a year of drought and never fails to bear fruit." And to me, that just paints a visual that those of you who trust God, like a tree that never withers, that doesn't worry about whenever there's a drought or whenever there's heat. Nothing can hurt that tree because it's planted by streams of water that are constantly giving it nutrients through its roots. I also know that in Proverbs 3:5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight." And that's just a wonderful promise that when we don't understand what's going on, whether with the situation that we have right now globally or in a situation that you have in your own personal life, we can trust God. And here's the really big question. How? How do we trust in God? How do we become that tree that doesn't wither in the heat or in disease or in whatever it is that may come? How do we allow God to make our paths straight? The points that we're going to be going through today are very relevant, I think, for our times, for our lives, in any situation and every situation. So without further ado, let's just get into it. So, what does it mean to trust God? Well, it means that we patiently wait on him. Patience that we have for him. It comes from the faith and the belief that God is a good God. He knows how to give good things in perfect timing. It's not our timing, it's his timing, and he always shows up right on time. And this patience, though it's very unusual in our world today, it comes from the faith and the belief that God has something good in store for us. Faith isn't optimism. Optimism is like you see this really bad situation, but you also see there's a good part in it, like there's something good that can come out of it. But faith is not like optimism. Faith is actually not seeing anything good at all, but yet knowing that God is still working behind the scenes. Even if you can't see it, even if you can't feel it, God is still working. That's how we can wait patiently on God. Psalm 41 says, "I waited patiently for the Lord. He turned to me and heard my cry." See, God isn't just this God of judgment. God is a good God. He is faithful. The Bible says he is slow to anger and great in love, rich in love. He has compassion on all that he has created. We can wait patiently on him, trusting and knowing that he's got something good in store at the end of whatever this bad situation is. Then we can prove that we do trust in God. We can wait for those good things. Second, to trust in God means to find refuge in him. Place for our minds, our soul, our emotions. We can go to God in whatever situation that we're going through. Because imagine that you're in your home, right, and someone breaks in. What you try to do is you try to flee. You try to get to a room or a restroom or a closet or somewhere where you can get in there and close the door behind you. And that place works as a refuge for you, as a safe area for you. Spiritually speaking, Jesus is that safe place for us. He is that safe place for us spiritually, emotionally, mentally. He's that safe place, that refuge for us from anxiety, from depression, from pain or loneliness. He's that refuge from guilt or grief or loss or anything else that our enemy, the devil, uses to weaken our spirit or to kill our faith. Jesus told us in John 10:10, the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they, meaning you and me, may have life, and not just have life, but have it to the full. If you trust God, that means that you look for that safety and that refuge in Him first and foremost. Third, trusting in God means to depend on Him. Think of a rail on a set of stairs, like this right here, right? That thing right there is there for anyone and for everyone who needs it. You know, for older people who aren't very sure of their balance, or even for people with a disability, or even children who aren't fully aware of their balance yet, or anyone on the day after leg day. Rails are there for us to help us in our balance so that we don't fall. So a quick little story. I remember going to a high school graduation in the summer, and I decided to wear wedges. I thought I was cute, you know, and I felt confident that I didn't need the railway when I was going down the stairs from the parking garage. You know, those stairs are concrete. So I overshot where the stairs were. Please don't judge my illustrations. Right there. So I completely lost my balance because my foot was supposed to start here, but it started right at the edge. And the first thing that I grabbed onto was the rail. I grabbed on so tight, like my life depended on it and like my dignity depended on it. I was able to keep myself up. I like to think of God as that rail on a staircase. He's present. He's there. All we need to do is reach out to Him and hold on tight. And not just whenever we're falling, but all the way. A lot of people today, and sometimes I find myself in that group of people, that sometimes I'll claim to trust in God, but I only reach out for Him when I'm falling or when something goes really, really wrong. And once I've gained my composure, once I've gotten whatever it was that I wanted or that I needed, a job, or the health of a family member, or your health, return of a family member, some kind of legal issue that he needed at the time, and then afterwards you forget about how God helped you, and sometimes I forget about how God helped me in those really difficult times. Forget that God was faithful in keeping His promise. He says that He's a very present help in times of need, in times of trouble, according to Psalms 46:1. See, if we want to trust God and truly trust God, and if I really want to trust God, then I need to depend on Him as much in the best times like I did or will do in my worst times. Lastly, to trust in God also means to put all of our burdens and all of our weights and all of our load on Him. In Matthew 11:28, Jesus tells us, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." And this isn't just physical rest. This is emotional rest, spiritual rest, mental rest. Whatever it is that you're struggling, whatever that is keeping you up at night, Jesus says that you can go to Him and He will give you rest. 1 Peter tells us, "Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that He may lift you up in due time." And this is my favorite part. Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you and He cares for me. Whatever weight you have on your shoulders, whatever burden you're carrying, whatever issue you're having or that I may have, I can take it to God and know that He is going to handle it because His word tells me that He will. And not just because He can, but because He wants to. And He wants to do that for you too. So if you want to trust God with everything, the small things, the big things, the good, the bad, the ugly, the secret things, the hidden things that no one else knows about, or even the most obvious things going on in your life, I pray that you and I can do it wholeheartedly. Do it with faith and belief that He'll provide in His time. Just be careful not to forget about him after he does provide. So I don't know where you are in your own life, just as you may not know where I am in my life. But what I do know is that God has started a good work in you, and he started a good work in me. And he knows us since before we were in our mother's womb. He knows us, like really knows us, because he sees what other people can't see. He sees our heart, our intentions, our thoughts. I hope that you and I can both take something from today's message about what it means to trust God. I hope that you and I can both learn how to patiently wait on him. We can find a safe place and refuge in him, depend on him in every situation, and that we can take our burdens and the weight that we carry and take it to him, and that he'll handle all of it. So God bless you, and I hope to see you next week on Facebook. Yes?
Puzzling.
No?
Do some puzzling. I can come in?
Yeah?
Huh?
Yes, you can come in.
Where are you?
I'm right here.
What are you doing?
I'm recording the English part of the service.
You already recorded it.
I didn't like it.
You just gotta live stream it. That way, it doesn't matter if you mess up. You just keep going, and then you can't watch it again. Lola's, come on, we're your fans. Come on, Lola, sit right here.
Sit. Sit. Back it up. Is it fat enough?
YouTube it.
This is the first and only one. Next week we're gonna live stream it on Facebook.
Forever.
I know.